we go. Okay.
That's good. Just got it. Okay. Ooh. Happy Michael is here today. Well, maybe not happy, but depressed Michael's not here today. Okay. Let's put this here. So, I kind of want to talk about today about purpose, because these past few weeks I've been really interested in kind of solidifying what I want to do in my life, for my career, as my passion, for how I make money. And this kind of all started back a little while ago, where I reached out to a few of my old high school teachers and asked them if they wanted to, if I could phone them, talk to them about things about school, about teaching, about all that stuff. And from that conversation, it made me just dive down the rabbit hole of what it is to become a teacher, how do you apply to be a teacher, just all these things. And these past few weeks, I've been at home with my family, with my parents, and I've been volunteering at my old high school, which has been awesome. And at first, getting there the first day, I was a little bit nervous, because for me, being in a new environment there's always uncertainty. It's a topic that I definitely want to discuss later in another chat with you. And I was worried that maybe some of the teachers wouldn't recommend or remember me. Some of the teachers or students, just my whole idea of what it is to be in a high school would be totally different, or it'd be different than what I would be imagining. And getting to that first day, being at home for me is not great at the moment. It hasn't really been great. I don't feel very heard when I'm at home. So it's always been hard to be at home when there's nothing to do, when there's nothing to look forward to in terms of friends or stuff to do during the day, meaningful stuff to do. And I think about that, and this being in a high school, volunteering with people that I used to look up to as as teachers and stuff like that. Now working with them, I had high hopes. I had very much high hopes, but when I got in there first day, being reintroduced with my old science teacher, it felt like I came back to a place where Michael had left, and it was just Michael in time just stood there. Michael's passions and identity just stood there. And in the past, that would get me really anxious or worried or mad or just overwhelming emotions, because I tried so hard to not be the person, the depressed, the burnt out, the overburdened person that I was in high school. Even though I was so successful, it was because of the success, just being so overburdened with things. And being known as the person that's the sports person that did everything, played in the band, did student council, just all that stuff. It just, for me, getting to university was necessary because I needed to get rid of that identity that wasn't created by myself. Maybe wasn't created, wasn't even created by me, more so by my parents. And so being back, it's just really interesting to see and hear what old teachers have to say about me, but what they what their opinions are, asking them about like how do they view me, how did they view me back then, and all that stuff. And it's been insightful to say the least. One of the things getting back is, being a student, even though I'm a university student, having that level of authority in terms of being able to teach a class, be able to do classroom management, was something that I was excited to practice and get used to, but also worried because you never know. You never know what classrooms, how they are going to react when there's a new person in the place doing stuff. And also, I didn't even know that I was going to teach some lessons. But I was very, very happy when I don't even remember what the lesson, why I was told to teach a class in chemistry. But I've taught about 3.5 classes now, and it's one of these things where for a lot of things that are new to me or that have a performance aspect to it, so sports, or relationships, meeting someone. It's funny how meeting someone is very much a performance. I always worried and concerned that I'm not putting my best foot forward or I'm not doing that well. That I could do better, that it could be more attractive, whatever way in that context. With that context, that would be the attraction. But with the being in the class, like there was one point 2 days ago where I wasn't paying attention at all. I was kind of joining my own things, lesson planning, and my teacher that I was volunteering with, she had to go out of the classroom for those picture days, team picture days. So she had to go out of the classroom and handle that stuff. And she told me, it's like, hey, can you finish up with the students with this? And I was not paying attention at all. And I get up to the camera that's shining down with the page that I'm writing on, and I was just looking at it, and I'm just like, I wasn't paying attention to class. Like I have no idea what's going on. Can anyone tell me what's going on? And they're saying, oh, they just finished question 2. It's like, oh, 2B, okay, yes, let's get started on that. And normally I'd criticize myself for that, but now with the confidence, I just know that I'm really good at maybe not good at explaining things that well, but I'm really good at being personable, being good at putting my best foot forward. Maybe definitely not the most attractive or perfect foot forward. Ideal foot forward. Yeah. So for me, the idea is like coming home from school, I would always, for the most part, be tired, but I would be really, really fulfilled. I would be happy. I feel like I've done stuff in the day. Like I have meaning for existing, for coming home and resting, being able to rest. Crazy. And I was thinking about this because a lot of my life has either been doing stuff that wasn't my choice, or doing stuff or finding my way through what I'm passionate about. And coming home from school, I just feel a great sense of fulfillment, and it's just, for me, it feels great that I can, help, high school students become young adults, to be a voice of reason and vulnerability and just kind of all these things together, and it really makes me feel fulfilled that I can have that impact. And I know I have that impact. I know a lot of them, with the questions that they've asked me, that they've don't know what it is about me, but they inherently trust me. At least some of them do. And it's really, really cool that I have those skills. It's really cool that I have something that I'm good at, that I can get paid for, that I can do as my career. That's always been lacking in my life when it comes to other aspects. Because a lot of the times, I always find a negative way to spin things that people like to do when it comes to working hard or doing side projects, or even like stuff like that's beneficial, like working out. I just like see people that do it like hours and hours on end, so they're super athletes. I'm just like, how are you spending this amount of time to do this? Like, you could be spending it doing something else, but I know that's my your insecurities coming up. But a lot of the times when it comes to passions, sports, exercise, journaling, these chats with you, I say with you, but I don't know who you are. And I feel like there's always sometimes I feel fulfilled, sometimes I don't, sometimes I feel fulfilled, sometimes I don't. And when it comes to school, there's been days I felt really tired, but there wasn't a single day that I wasn't looking forward to the next day, to come back, to actually keep doing stuff. And I'll have more responsibilities next week to do with my two teachers. And it's great. It makes me feel like I'm knowledgeable, competent, and useful in life. And for a lot of the other things that I do, it doesn't feel that way. So having something that I can get paid for, teaching, and also feel fulfilled, that is what I'm really looking for. But I was had a phone call today with what I call my best friend, but that title is in limbo right now. Interesting enough. And he's on another stage in his life, just graduating university, where I have one more year. And he was back at home looking for jobs, all these different things. And he was kind of saying, it's like at the end of the last few things he had to do for university, he's like, hey dude, I need time to myself. I hope you can respect that. And I didn't really take it too well, because my mindset at that time was a bundle of stress with all the exams that I had. But now with the exams being done, having to break and all this stuff, we didn't talk for like 3 weeks, which that hasn't happened in, I don't know, probably the 2 years that we were been chatting, since we were connected. And he asked me if he could phone and apologize for something, and for that being a little short at the end of the text messages before we went on a 3-week hiatus from each other. And I was like, sure, okay, cool with that. So the phone call happened today. I get my notepad out because I need to write stuff down as he's talking about things. And as we get into it, kind of asking him, what happened in those 3 weeks? Not what happened in those 3 weeks, but how did those 3 weeks go? What were you feeling at the time when that happened? And all this stuff. Just gathering your information. Almost felt like an exit interview. It's really interesting. And I kind of asked questions, and then a little bit later he asked me a question. It's like, hey, I gotta apologize for this. Or that's not a question. He did that before, but he asked me, it's like, how have you been through all that stuff? And I kind of gave a shorter answer. Then I went back to asking him questions about his current situation. And one of the things that there's 3 things that I realized. One of the things I've already realized for a little bit is that to him, I'm a great listener. I'm a great person to talk to. a lot of our conversations is me asking him questions, he kind of talking a lot. So it's a lot of tending to one-sidedness in a conversation. And for me, being a good listener, it's for some of it it's helpful for me. It's actually very positive. But I'm noticing that even though I was being useful for him, it's not the same when they're not useful to you back, or they don't fulfill your gas you up, like I like to say, to you back, because like it's got to go both ways. Or if it's one-sided, then someone's gonna be drained. And I was thinking about that before and then during the conversation, and I was kind of letting some silence come through for him to ask me questions, for him to lead me through some things. And going through that, he didn't give me much in terms of asking, in terms of going in depth. Mostly ask a question, maybe ask a second question after, but then talk about himself and a lot of things rather than kind of asking me. And there's different friendships, there's different relationships. There's no one size fits all. I'm realizing for me it's not necessarily that beneficial, because I don't feel like I'm being heard. I'm making him feel heard a lot, but he's not making me feel heard. And after a little bit of asking him asking me some surface level questions, like, dude, is there anything, like, in terms of, anything you want to know, how my last 3 weeks have went, any nuance that we haven't talked about? And he's like, nope, I've heard everything I kind of, that I really am thinking of right now. It's just like, I'm asking you to ask me a question, anything. And I said, nope, I'm okay. And just hearing that, I was just, it's not the conversations I like to have with people. There's not the ability to not ask questions, not to be curious. Oh my. So one of the other main talking points was like being of service to each other, because I know that's why I'm very much enjoying being in a high school, because being of service to students and also helping out my teachers that I'm volunteering with, I'm being useful to people. But when it comes to my friend, I asked him, like, hey, I know this is hard to be of use to someone, to be useful, but dude, like, how can I help? How can I be of service to you? And he's like, nah, it's pretty hard to be of service when you're so far away. There's so many ways. We were gonna, last summer we were on the quest to make a podcast, and I felt really great. We haven't been able to do that since last summer, and even though I've tried a bunch. So I'm realizing that my purpose in that friendship was to grow as a person, was to feel like, to feel heard, to have a sense of safety. But at the end, he talked about how, he doesn't want to be the guy that has to cope, that isn't aware about things. Gives an example of how at his university, so many people party and drink and do drugs that they don't actually feel the pain that they're feeling. And I heard that, and I was just like, oh, man, I can't trust you as much anymore, because I'm very aware, but I cope all the time when it comes to things. Like, I struggle with life. So if you're saying that, if you're essentially in terms of he's being self-righteous, saying, I don't need to cope, I don't want to cope, and that makes me a better person than these people. I just hear that, I'm just like, wow, there's not a lot of empathy involved in that. I can't really be around you if there's not going to be empathy, if you, not, because it's to that person, to those people. Fine, you might not know them that much, it's a lot easier, but you're saying the things that I actually need help on. So you're essentially saying that you can't be of service to me. So if I can't be of service to you, you can't be of service to me, why are we even having a friendship? Why are we talking? as much as we did. Um, so I'm thinking in terms of what my friends are right now, the people around me, and just being of service. Like, what does it mean to be of service to someone, and for someone to be of service to me? And I'm at a point of life where I'm just like, hey, you're a good friend, but not right now. I'm at a good point in my life, and I'm happy about that. So I think my thoughts of my next steps are just reaching out to people, especially in my aerobic community, and just thinking like, how can I be a service to you? How can you be a service to me? And just keep going. Just keep being vulnerable with people. Try to have more, be a more integral part to other people's lives. Spend more time with them when they want to spend more time, and if they have the capability. Some people are completely fulfilled with their current situation. That is cool. I want to find those people that maybe aren't. Maybe they're looking for something a little bit more. I want to do that. But I think with taking a break from school and work for the next few months, I think a lot of personal growth will happen. A lot of realizations will happen. I'll have so much time to myself. I think I'm going to be very scared. I'm looking forward to it because I think my direction of purpose makes more sense now. My meaning in life makes more sense now. I actually have ideas towards what's going to be really, really beneficial to the class, to myself, and to what is purposeful to me, what is meaningful to me, and that's all I've been really wanting in my life, to have purpose and meaning, and I think I'm on the quest for what that means.